Hi guys, welcome to your essential practice. You will get introduced to the most important yoga poses, beginner's level, as well as we will talk about the common misalignments in yoga poses, learn specific actions in the body. Remember, your practice is all about respecting the biomechanics of the body, how the body works, the relationships between the bones, the muscles, different movements you can perform living in this body. You will need yoga chair. Ideally, you want the chair without the back, but you can just use your normal chair. You will need 2 yoga blocks, cork blocks, my preferable choice. You can order them online. Also, you can buy your strap, yoga strap, or use temporarily your belt. That's what we need to move forward in our course. In this first session, I want to introduce you to the basic spinal actions, what our spine can do. There are 4 actions. I'm going to show you from the side. First action is a spinal flexion, which we called forward bend, bending forward. Spinal flexion, spinal extension, which is your back bend. Now also your spine can move to the side bending, lateral flexion, second side. One more action is your rotation. You can twist. The spinal is rotating. Great. Now, a few actions in your joints. Flexion, your elbow flexion, your knee flexion, your head cervical extension, and cervical flexion. The first thing to learn about your spine is that your spine has got 3 curves. First one is your lumbar spine, right here, 5 vertebrae. Second is your thoracic spine, 12 vertebrae, right here, mid-spine. And the top part is your cervical spine, 7 vertebrae. Now, depending on your posture and your life patterns, what you do for a living, how the way you stand, the way you walk, you can develop the excessive curves in all these 3 areas. So I'm just going to show you the common misalignments. The first condition you can develop is called lordosis, which is the excessive curve in your lumbar spine. You might develop a slight discomfort in your lower spine. Now, the second condition is your kypothic, which is this area, the excessive curvature in your thoracic spine area, basically rounding the spine forward. And the third one, also the way we position our head is very important. So you will notice sometimes when we use our mobile phones, the head can go forward and up, again crashing, congesting this area here. So So we always want to keep the back of the neck long and working on how can we align those three curves in just a natural flow of energy traveling through that curves. The second thing we want to remember throughout the practice is how to keep our pelvis, the whole pelvis basin, neutral. So now we've got two things happening. First misalignment is the anterior tilt of the pelvis, which is often combined with these excessive lordosis here in your lumbar spine. We've got the second opposite extreme on the second side is your posterior tilt, reducing completely your lumbar spine curve, and your thighs come forward. So the way to find your neutral pelvis is to focus on those two hip points right here. If you touch your pelvis, landmarks here, ASIS points, the anatomical term I'm using, and your pubic bone. So from the side, you want those hip bones, landmarks, to be in alignment with your pubic bone. Now in your anterior tilt, what happens, those two hip points are further than your pubic bone. Again, this is your anterior tilt. Now this is your posterior tilt, where your pubic bone is further forward than your hip points. So again, we always try to find a neutral pelvis. Great. Let's explore those movements in our basic practice today. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with a forward bend. So what you're going to do, you're going to use your chair and position yourself in front of the chair with feet hip-width apart. Place your hands on your hips. Look down into your feet. Make sure your feet are parallel. Lift through your heart. Lengthen your spine. Spinal extension. And hinge from your hips. Bow forward. And rest your forearms right on top of the chair. Then catch your elbows with your hands and rest your forehead on top of your forearms. That's your forward bend. In our yoga practice, we use Sanskrit names. So this pose in Sanskrit is called Uttanasana, forward bend. Now you can keep your knees slightly bent. If you have more flexibility in your hamstrings, you can straighten your legs. As your hamstrings stretch, 2 more breaths. And please gently come back all the way to standing. So that was your forward bend, spinal flexion. Now we have a spinal extension, back bend. Position your hands on your lower spine, fingers pointing down. towards your heels. Roll your shoulders back and lift your heart. Lift your heart and start leaning backward. Finding that extension. Keep the back of your neck long. Chin is slightly tucked in. Lift your heart more. Strong legs. Press down through your heels and take 2 more breaths. And then release. Great. Now, standing in Tadasana, which is your mountain pose. Tadasana, neutral pose. Feet are hip-width apart. Legs are straight. Again, find the neutral pelvis. Lengthen your tailbone down towards your heels and engage your core, lifting your pubic bone. You might have to recognize what is the specific action you're looking for, possibly standing in front of the mirror and look into your body. What is your tendency? Is it more of a anterior tilt? Is it more of a posterior tilt? Trying to find a neutral pelvis. Great. Standing in Tadasana, reach your arms over your head. Urdhva Hastasana. Elbows are straight, look up, spread your fingertips. Energy in your legs, energy in your arms. Firm the muscles of your arms. And pull your kneecaps, firming the muscles here, your thigh muscles. Arms are straight. Now we're going into side bending. Catch your the right wrist with your left hand. Inhale, lengthen through the left side of your body. So you pull yourself up towards the ceiling, making the right side of your body longer. And as you exhale, lean to the side. Side bending. Take 3 breaths here, breathing all the way to your right waist, to your right rib cage, armpit, opening the side of your body. Then come back, arms straight. Switch second side, catch your left wrist, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, go to the right. And breathe. Breathe to your left waist, left rib cage. Lengthen your tailbone, lift your pubic bone. Come back, release your arms. Close your eyes for a moment, take 3 breaths in your mountain position. Again, repeating the same side bending in a different shape. You're going to step your feet wider apart. Now look into your feet, make sure your feet are parallel. Your legs are straight, place your hands on top of your hips. And take time here to distribute the weight of your body evenly on the inner edge of your foot and the outer edge of your foot. The legs are strong. Wide stance position. Extend your arms straight. And holding this position, arms are straight, legs are straight, lengthen your tailbone, lift your pubic bone, lift through your breastbone and broaden your collarbones. Keep your arms straight, spread your fingers wide apart. Now you're going to turn the leg that is right next to your chair out. So you pivot on top of your heel, turning your foot out, facing the short edge of your mat. Your whole leg is rotating. Your knee also is pointing direction of your foot. Hinge from your hip, reach forward and rest your hand on top of your chair. Now, the second arm goes right above your head. Supported triangle pose, Trikonasana. So we gently using the chair to have a bit of a modification here. Eventually this pose will go a little bit deeper. Right now we're using chair to get familiar with this shape and just feel your body, breathe, legs are straight. And release. Hands on your hips. Turn your foot in. And heel toe your feet, zigzag in. Back to mountain position. This time the mountain pose is with your feet touching. That's your classical version of this pose. Knees in, inner thighs in, inner heels in, big toes touching, standing tall. The modified version of this pose is hip width apart. You can choose what works best for your body. Now we're going to change. Take your chair to the second side or turn around and step your feet wide apart. Hands on your hips, wide stance. Lift your heart, firm the muscles of your legs. Make sure your feet are parallel and extend your arms straight out. Arms straight, legs straight. Lengthen your tailbone, lift your pubic bone. And turn the second leg out. Turning out, pointing the short edge of your mat, pointing the chair. Make sure your knee also is turning out in direction of your foot. Lean forward, adding the side bending again, lateral flexion, and extend your top arm. And breathe. Just notice, is this feeling any different from the first side? When you move and practice yoga, you often recognize those subtle imbalances in your body, and that's okay. We all have something. The aim is to bring the body into the most optimal alignment for your body. Your blueprint in your body, the body you live in. And come back, arms straight, feet turning again parallel, and zigzag, feet back to Tadasana, big toes touching, inner heels touching, arms are straight. Take a 3 breaths, close your eyes. Open your eyes, take your chair again, first position. Now we're going to go into a similar pose with a knee bend, knee flexion. You're going to step your foot on top of the chair and rest your elbow on top of your knee. Notice what happens here, knee flexion. Your second hand will go on your hip. Now take your foot away from the chair, a little bit more, increasing the distance. Go only as far as you feel steady. Back leg is straight, and just notice when you bend your front knee, you are experiencing this deep stretch in your hip. You can stay here, extend that top arm all the way next to your cheek. So you're looking to build this straight line between your heel the supported heel on the mat and the top of your fingertips, straight line on the right side of my body. That's maybe enough, or go a little bit deeper, trying to touch the chair with your hand. See if this is a great choice, maybe not, maybe yes. Side angle pose. Parshvottanasana, side angle, bend your knee more. Modify variation of the pose. Back knee is straight, front leg is bent. Release, switch side. Remember, when you transition between the poses, always take time. Make sure your chair is steady. Step your second foot on top of the chair and rest your elbow on top of your knee. Take your foot away and bend your front knee deeply. Extend your top arm and find your second side. Back leg is straight, front knee is bent. Is this enough? Make that choice. That might be enough. Stay here for 3 breaths. And then go deeper. See if this is possible. Opening your pelvis. The top arm is straight. Reach through your fingertips and press into the heel down into your mat. And then come back again, standing in mountain pose. Close your eyes. Make sure your big toes touching, inner heels touching, inner knees touching, shoulders back, spine straight, head neutral, neutral pelvis. Great. Let's do 2 more things here before we sit down in our breathing practice. Spinal rotation. Sit on the edge of the chair. So from the side, I will show you what we're doing. Your heels are right underneath your knees. Feet are parallel again. And sit straight, spine straight. Again, there is a natural curve in your lumbar spine, mid-thoracic spine, and your cervical neck is long, the back of your neck. Now twisting, rotation in your spine. Bring your arms to cactus position. So your elbows are bent, your palms facing forward, it looks like this. Your elbows are shoulder height. And we're going to twist to the side, spinal rotation. Use your core muscles to deepen the twist. Lift your heart. Look over your right shoulder. And then use your second hand to deepen the twist. So your hand will go outside of your knee and deepen the rotation in your spine. You can grab the back of the chair with your second hand. Look over. Spinal rotation as well as your neck. Remember, cervical spine, your neck, part of your spine structure. And then release, switch second side. You can turn to the second side, or I will just show you on the second side. Cactus arms first and twist to the left. Twist to the left. Spinal rotation. Then use your hand to deepen the twist and grab the back of the chair. So you're using your hands to deepen the rotation in your spine. Twist your head, direction of the twist. It's a common way to call this is twisting. In anatomy, we call it a rotation, spinal rotation. Great. Then come back. Sit again, edge of the chair. One more position, hip stretch. You're going to position your shin on top of your knee. Sitting again on the edge of the chair. Foot is active. Now pay attention to what is happening around this knee. If you're tight in your hip, your knee might be quite elevated like this. And that's okay. You're just going to stay here breathing. You have more flexibility in your hip. You can take your knee more towards your mat, so your shin is more horizontal to the floor. And then bow forward. Take 5 breaths. Hip stretch. Lengthen your spine forward, shoulders back. You can do this short sequence anytime throughout the week, at work, when you are having a lunch break, anytime in the morning, just to open the hip, couple of twists, side bends and forward bend. It's a great reset for our body. Switch second side. Take your second shin, ankle on top of your knee. And notice the difference. How's that feel for your second side? Watch out your knee. Make sure your knee doesn't have any pains. And bow forward. Sitting in this shape. Hip stretch. Seated hip stretch. Breathe deeply. And then release. We will end up with our forward bend, the same way as we started. Standing in front of the chair, feet hip width apart, place your hands on your hips. Inhale, lift. Exhale, bow. Hinge from your hips and rest your forearms. Grab your elbows with your hands and rest your forehead on top of your forearms. Become aware of your breath. Relax your head. Your head is heavy, supported. Relax your shoulders. A bend in your knees will allow you to surrender more with gravity. If you want to intensify your hamstring stretch, you can straighten your legs fully. Lifting your sit bones, pressing your heels down, stretching your spine as well. 5 more breaths. And gently come up, sit on the chair. Feet are hip width apart. Sit at the very edge of the chair. The breath is the most important part of yoga. The practice we learned today is called full yogic breath. The breathing in yoga is a bit different than our everyday life pattern. We're so used to breathing into our upper chest. It's quite shallow. Just the breath we experience is located somewhere here around your upper rib cage, your throat. Now, in yoga, we want to learn how to breathe all the way down into the belly. We've got this beautiful muscle here, diaphragm, in the shape of sort of an umbrella that is at the bottom of your lungs. Now, when you inhale, your diaphragm goes down and you want to experience your breath in your abdomen. Your breath goes all the way down to your pubic bone. You can practice that with placing your hands gently on top of your lower abdomen. Breathe, inhale into your hands, exaggerate, make your belly open, broaden your waist, everything expands all the way down to your pelvic floor muscles. And as you exhale, you pull your belly in, your navel travels in, your waist narrows. And again, inhale, breathing all the way down to your abdomen. Fill up your belly with air. Exhale, pull it in. That's the first part. Very important to train yourself into this new way of breathing. The second part of that breath is located here in the mid of your rib cage. So you can place your hands on the side, not on the front, more on the side of your ribs. And again, practice by breathing into your hands, trying to expand your rib cage, side of your ribs, back of your ribs. Fill up your lungs with air and your rib cage will follow. And when you exhale, your rib cage contracts. Inhale. Again, breathing to the side, to the back of your ribs. Exhale. And the third part of the breath now is back to the beginning. Upper chest, right above your nipples, from your nipples to your chin, throat area, your collarbones. You can rest your hands on top of your upper chest and breathe into this region, which is actually really simple. We're so used to breathing that way. Let's make it more conscious. Pay attention how you inhale and your upper chest is expanding, collarbones broadening, shoulder blades widening. Exhale, breathe, inhale, breathe to your throat. Exhale, shoulders. Shoulders stay relaxed. The breath is breathing you and expanding you from inside out. Now let's practice those three parts of the breath into one full experience, the full yogic breath. So start from your belly. Inhale to your belly for 1, 2, expand. 3 and 4, expand your ribs. 5 and 6, upper chest. And exhale all the way. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull your belly in, emptying out completely. Hands on your belly again. Inhale 1, 2, inflate your belly. 3 and 4, expand your ribcage. And 5 and 6, fill up your lungs, hold your breath. And exhale, ribcage softens, side of your ribs. Exhale, and last, your belly. Pull it in completely. Last one. Hands on your belly. Inhale 1 for 2, 3 and 4. Continue your inhalation. 5 and 6. Breathe into your upper lungs. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax for a moment. Now we're going to, you can continue using your hands. It's very useful to train yourself into those awareness around what part of my body I am actually using. If you don't need your hands, you can rest your hands on your laps. Close your eyes and let's do it again. Inhale 1, 2, belly, 3, 4, chest, 5, 6, upper chest. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Emptying out completely. Inhale belly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue on your own. I'll leave you to it. Remember to breathe to your belly first, then your mid part of your rib cage, and then lastly upper chest. Practicing full yogic breath. Imagine if you had like a sort of a pipe inside you that breathes you, becomes more natural. The more you practice, the less effort is there. And bring your palms to your heart. Soften the skin of your palms to recognize this journey together. How you feeling? This journey, we're learning how to live in the body we are in. How to live with awareness. What posture we are in our physical body, what posture we are in our minds, and what posture we are in our emotional experience. We are always in some kind of posture. Bow to your heart with gratitude.